सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So what we'll do is I'll give some background, we'll chant a little bit later. We need to look at the context and before getting into the actual shlokas. So as you recall, we studied the first 6 chapters and we said this first 6 represents Tvam-pada vicharaha, Jiva vicharaha, Jiva swarupaha, Jiva swarupa vicharaha. And then there is a marked shift in the 7th chapter. So 7 to 12 we said it is going to predominantly talk about Bhagavan. Bhagavan is, Krishna is introducing himself finally, and therefore that second 6 is called the second Shakka. Dvitiyam Shakkam, it is called Ishvara Swarupa Vicharaha or Tatpada Vicharaha. All these are same, identical. And we started that with the 7th chapter. And 7th chapter, we were introduced to the idea of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. Okay. And we said that, Krishna said that Para Prakriti is quote unquote my superior nature, my true nature, and Apara Prakriti is my manifest nature. It is what you can see. When you want to use your eyes and ears and see, then you are looking at Apara Prakriti. That is the manifest Jagat, manifest body. And with the manifest body, you are looking at the manifest Jagat. But don't take that as the end. Ultimate, there is more than the manifest Jagat, which is that Apara Prakriti, which is me, which is Paramatma. Parameshwara, we use the word Parameshwara sometimes to refer to that Paramatma, Nirgunam Brahma, Para Prakriti. Okay, these things we saw in the 7th chapter. Then, in the 8th chapter, suddenly things changed. It started with Arjuna's questions, which was also triggered by Krishna's the way Krishna finished the seventh chapter. And so, Kim Tat Brahma is what he asks in the eighth chapter. If you have the book of verses, good to have it in front of you. So, Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma, Purushottama, three questions in the first line. Adhibhutam cha Kim Proktam, Adhidevam Kimuchyate. Another two more questions. Adhiyajna Katham Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana. Sixth question, Prayana Kale Chakatam Neyosi Niyatatmabihi. Seventh question, Prayana Kale Chakatam. And seven questions Krishna answers here. But then six questions he answers within the first two shlokas. And then the rest of the chapter he devotes for this Anta Prayana Kale Chakatam. And he starts that shloka number 5. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva karevaram. So the rest of the chapter is devoted to this Antakale. And so we saw that this eighth chapter is about Saguna Brahma Jnanam, Saguna Brahma Vidya. What should I be thinking of during the last days of my life? Why should you worry about what you should think about the last days of your life? Well, that is because our shastram is full of this. The last thought you have in the mind, that is what it's an indication of my next janma, and therefore we are worried about that last thought. And so the Arjuna's question is about next life, really speaking. What can I do now in the last days of my life so I can secure my next janma? So it is about next janma. And so it's an odd thing. So this entire chapter 8 is a bit odd. Paramarthananda Ji will say it's odd man out. Because it is talking about postponing moksha. It's talking about next janma how to secure. Hey Bab, you try to secure this life. Why are you worried about next life? Next life itself is a belief. For us it is jnanam because Veda says it. But you can't prove it. Well, let's focus on things that you can prove right now. Okay? That is Krishna. Because if you ask Krishna, is he asking us to postpone moksha by teaching us the eighth chapter? No. It is triggered by Arjuna's question. And so it's still an important chapter. So that is the eighth chapter. And so that eighth chapter you can say Saguna. It's called Aksharam Brahma. Akshara Brahma Yoga. Why? Because of the third shloka, which begins, Krishna begins his teaching by saying Aksharam Brahma Paramam, therefore called Akshara Brahma Yoga. But it is really the way to understand Aksharam Brahma Yoga, it's not Nirguna Brahma Yoga. It is actually Saguna Brahma Yoga. Correct? Because he's not talking about Aksharam Brahma in the chapter. Because that is only the answer to the first question. Kim Tad Brahma? Brahma is Aksharam, over. Next, Kimadhyatmam Swabhavodhyatmam Uchyate. Correct? We saw all these things. So the rest of the chapter is Antakali. Uh, so what is the use of the eighth chapter means? The use is Antakali. So everybody does not have the luxury of studying Bhagavad Gita in a young age or something age when the future is there, very much there. And a person can say, no, my days are getting numbered. I like our this one. Parikshit can say, I have only 7 more days left, so I'm going to use these days properly. So because he had Shuka as his guru, and his days were used properly. And so then what happens? I can get moksha. 7 days are enough. Shukamuni says 7 days are enough for you to get moksha. Don't jump up and down. Just relax. Okay. And so here, what is the phalam of this eighth chapter? Saguna Brahma Vidya, Saguna Brahma Jnanam, Upasanam. Saguna Brahma Upasanam is the way to understand this Akshara Brahma Yoga. Because it is how I can think of Bhagavan. What can I think of during the last days of my life? Okay. And so, what is the result of that? Krama Muktihi. Krama Muktihi means what? not Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means Mukti while alive. In this life, while alive. So only Advaita Vedanta talks about Jivan Mukti. Nobody else accepts all these things. Vishishta Advaita says there is no Jivan Mukti. Go, get out of here. What are you talking about? The Jivan Mukti doesn't exist. It's not popular at all. It is popular only among those who study Advaita, who talk about Satyam and Mithya, who say that traveling to Vaikuntha itself, etc., we believe. We don't deny all that. We believe all that. But we say that is Anityam, my dear friend. Vaikuntha itself is Anityam. And so we have to ask the question like Nachiketa, Dharma, Adharmat, Anyat. Dharmat, Anyatra Dharmat, Anyatra Adharmat. Nachiketa knew it. He even knew that Yama's position is temporary. Correct? We saw that in Kathopanishad. I can't recall the actual words, and he says, as long as you are there here, see, as long as you are there in Yamaloka, you are the reigning emperor of Yamaloka, so long I know I'll be happy. Because Yama can do whatever he wants. So that means Nachiketa is clear. Hey, you're the Lord, no doubt, but your position also, your days, Brahmaji's days also, maybe a long life like that. Therefore, we accept all that. So Vaikuntha, you can go, but you will have to find a guru. In Vaikuntha, if you can find a guru, find a guru. No problem. We have no problem. You can do that. And so that is called Krama Muktihi. Going not to Vaikuntha, going to Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka. Because the person is doing, it's a Nishkama Upasaka. And so therefore Shastram says Brahmaloka. Then Brahmaloka chances are extremely high. And in fact, at some point in Brahmaloka, Brahmaji, Kamalasana Brahmaji, Chaturmukha Brahmaji will teach you. Like that Shastram says. We can't prove it. We accept what the Shastram says. Okay? And we can accept it. It's not illogical. Because the person is ready. Antakarana Shuddhi is there, but this guy has postponed. He is not interested in Nirguna Brahma Vishaya Jnana. Okay. And no. For me, that particular form of Ishvara is important. Like that, he's postponed, either postponed or ignored. And so later on, the situation will be right. So that Krama Muktihi versus what? Jivan Muktihi, Sadhyo Muktihi. Krama Muktihi versus Sadhyo Muktihi. Krama means moksha indirectly. After one more step, there's one more station you have to go to, and you end up there, then only you get moksha. But yahan par Sadhyo Muktihi. Sadhya means now, immediate. Immediate. Paramarthananda ji says, immediate, instant. Instant means right now. You want to get moksha now, you can get it now. But of course, a lot of preparation is there, no doubt. And so he says, like instant idli, instant sambar, instant noodles. They have some noodles. Those days there used to be a 5-minute noodle and all. I have not checked that. It's been a long time since I bought that noodle packet. And they have some little masala inside. You just pour it and boil it and done. 5 minutes, your dinner is ready. I don't know how healthy all these things are. But for a guy whose life is, I told you, the life of a graduate student. I don't know if I should say it. Apartment, department. See, Vaidya is laughing. Apartment, department. Advisor, Budweiser. This is how we used to say. This is all advisor. Apartment to department. Department to apartment. Apartment to department. That's it. And then after 4 years, the fellow is the hair is already graying. Okay. And he's looking like this. Hey, you're a doctor. You're going to become a doctor. What happened? Advisor, Budweiser. You go to department, advisor. You got to deal with the advisor. You come home and have a beer. That beer brand is called Budweiser. That's it, over. I don't know. People are smart. They come up with all these things. And uh, so anyway, that was by the way. So let's come back to instant. Yeah, that instant noodle. It is those days we are all instant. We should come home and food should be ready. That's it. and mother is not there, unfortunately, because I've flown far away from mother. And so this courier service and all was not there those days, and so we had to do something. And so instant sambar, instant sevai, instant puliyogare. So those who are the fans of this puliyogara, then they will have only this puliyogara every day. Open this packet, put. Hey, what is this? You don't know anything else or what? Some sambar, chutney, some idlis, rasam, dal, all these things you can make. So finally, we end up making something and we eat and we finish get our degree. So that is called Sadhyo Muktihi. So Swamiji says, so we are not a fast food restaurant. We are a fast liberation restaurant, fast moksha restaurant. That is what we are, it seems. So so that fast is not so fast because there is karma yoga, then there is antakarana shuddhi, and there is Vedanta vicharaha, which is called jnana yoga. We have to use our mind, we have to think a little bit, and then because buddhi has been given, because a human being is different from animals. Why? Because it is a buddhi that makes us different. All these things we have to hear from somebody. This is my karma that I have to hear from somebody. What is the difference between animal and human being? What is this? What is my karma? All these things are to be done. Okay. So the phalam of that, the result of all that is what? Is of course Jivan Mukti, which is what? Nirguna Brahma Jnanam, which is the main topic of Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, then ninth chapter. 8th chapter, there is a little jump. So Krishna reminds Arjuna that, okay, Antakale, it's over. Okay, chapter is over. And then Nirgunam Brahma. Very important. This Nirgunam Brahma is such an important thing that the lack of understanding Satyam and Mithya results in a lack of appreciation of Nirgunam Brahma, which is actually quite simple. If you look at geometric shapes, triangle, for example, square, quadrilateral, everything is based on, it has lines. But if you look into what is a line, the figure is a bunch of lines. The line is a bunch of points, and the point is dimensionless. Dimensionless means it has no measurement. That is the meaning of dimensionless. And so zero dimension entity is producing or is sustaining all these shapes which have dimensions, which have all those things are there. So it's actually not difficult. Of course, the entire field of physics, chemistry, and all knows that. The scientists know that very well. But our shastram has it just makes it formal, and there is a teaching methodology. And then you have Upanishads, which spend a lot of time on this Nirgunam Brahma. Upanishads don't talk about Saguna Brahma at all. Just a little occasional, some portions of the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya is very big. And so they have a lot of, we only study one particular section of that big Upanishad. And they talk about all this afterlife and all that. Some sections are all there. But Dhuma, the person is born as smoke, and then the person is born as clouds, like that and all it says. So, but Nirgunam Brahma, that is the main topic. Like Mundaka will say, very clearly it will say, Adreshyam, Agrahyam. Adreshyam means Adrishyam. Atma is that which cannot be seen. Agrahyam cannot be grasped by any other means of knowledge. And then what? Agotram. Your poor Atma has no gotra. In South here and all, if you go to a temple and all, they'll ask you what's your gotra. I don't know. North में ऐसा है कि नहीं? Gotra and all will they ask? I think they should. I think gotra is yeah, they do. And so you should know the gotra. If you don't know, ask somebody and find out. Right? Ask your relatives. Ask parents are not alive. Ask somebody and what is my gotra, and do some research. It's not difficult to find out. So then you keep the gotram handy, so that Bhagavan can focus, the results can be focused on this person, this gotra, then this nakshatra, then this particular rashi, like that. And then this is the Namadheya. All that you have to say. Then the blessings will come. Not that God is confused. God is not like, where are you? Where are you? No, no. God is not like that. But still, for our own benefit, we need to tell the Ishtadevata who we are as introduction. So that, but unfortunately, Atma is what? Agotram. Adreshyam, Agrahyam, Agotram. Avarnam, no colors. No colors. Beautiful, nice, spring season colors and all that. No, no spring, nothing. Atma is no spring, no winter, nothing, no seasons, seasonless. And then Achakshustrotram. This is, I'm quoting this from Mundaka Upanishad. So I think some sixth mantra or something like that. So Achakshustrotram has no eyes and ears. Poor Atma, blind, blind Atma. And then Apani Padam, no legs also, no locomotion, no such thing. It has no parts. This is how it explains. Upanishad also is constrained. Categorically, it is not able to say. Somebody asked that question in the Kathopanishad class a week ago or something. Anuradha. She wanted to know the meaning of a word um, from Mandukya Upanishad. Same similar statement. Adrishtam, Adrishtam, Avyavaharyam. Adrishtam means that which is not visible. Avyavaharyam. You can't play around with Atma. It is not available for transactions. Correct? Avyavaharyam. Next word. Avyavaharyam, and then Agrahyam Alakshanam. Again, Agrahyam Alakshanam. There is no definition for Atma. Then what? Then Agrahyam Alakshanam Achintyam. You can't even think of Atma. Okay, there are no words. Atma has no eyes and ears, etc. At least I should be able to meditate on Atma. Correct? After all, our whole culture is based on meditation. This is only culture. No, you can't meditate on Atma also, because Atma is not an object. Then last word she asked, what is the meaning of Avyapadeshyam? Avyapadeshyam. Avyapadeshyam means Atma does not allow itself to be defined. Categorical definition is not there for Atma. Avyapadeshyam. Like this, then Kathopanishad is going to say, Yama is shortly going to tell Nachiketa, and he's going to say something similar. Yattadagrah, yattadadre, yattadadrishyam arupam, arupam, no form, formless Atma, arupam, and then something else comes. Avyayam, nityam, avyayam, does not decline yet, without any rupa, therefore does not decline. Like this, a big list he gives. And then tatha arasam, no taste, at least some taste is there. Sorry, no taste, tasteless Atma. Okay, sprouted beans like Atma. And then tatha arasam, and then nityam agandhavachayat, nityam, constant, always there. And then agandhavachayat, agandhavat, gandha is also not there, no smell also, which actually is good news, I think, because you turn on the TV, they constantly say you must spray your body with all these things, deodorant. I said, why should I spray my body with deodorant? So after a while, all kids will start thinking, no, I'm constantly smelling. This is subconsciously, this is what they tell you. Subconsciously, you're stinking. Just wait. Just spray all these things, then only you should enter the house. And so Atma doesn't stink. Agandhavachayat, no odor. Good odor, bad odor, Atma doesn't have. So this is how. This is why these statements will be ignored by other darshanas. They have no meaning. These statements have no meaning at all. Vishishtadvaiti and all you talk. I don't know how they are going to explain all these shlokas. For us, these become the core shlokas, correct? Core mantras. Core mantras. So, in any case, Bhagavad Gita also said that in second chapter. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam. Natvam shochitum arhasi. I think so, huh? Like that it comes. So, avyaktoyam. I am Atma avyaktaha. Avyaktaha means what? It is not manifest. Atma is pure consciousness. World is manifest from the Atma, but Atma is unmanifest. And who am I, if you ask? I am that Atma. Avyaktoyam. Achintyaha. Same word comes. Atma cannot be objectified by the mind, cannot be grasped by the mind, etc. So this is crucial. The Nirguna Brahma is crucial. One school ignores it, another school holds on to that. And so, therefore, so eighth chapter, Saguna Brahma Vicharaha, then we don't say that is not important. In fact, that is very important. Why? Because our life begins with Saguna Brahma Jnanam only, correct? Even a child has knowledge of Saguna Brahma. A child can talk so much about Krishna, Rama, and Devi and so forth. By the time the child is 5 years old, it knows all these things. All temples, Ganesha, everything is known. It has some basic knowledge about all these things. And so we start our life that way. And in fact, we say without Saguna Brahma Jnanam, Nirguna Brahma Jnanam is impossible. Impossible. That bhakti is already there in us. That is why we came to Vedanta. Why? Because it did not satisfy us enough. Something is missing. Despite all my bhakti, despite being blessed with so much, still something is missing. That thought has to come. That thought has to come, and you should pursue that thought further. Don't push the thought under the carpet. And then when I pursue it, I'll end up with this vidya, Brahma Vidya, Nirguna Brahma Vidya. And so that was chapter 7. Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. Everything you knew so far is Apara Prakriti. Now I'm going to teach you what is Para Prakriti. Correct? That's how seventh chapter we saw. And therefore, seventh chapter was Sadhya Muktihi, eighth chapter was Krama Muktihi, ninth chapter back to Sadhya Mukti, correct? Jivan Muktihi, Moksha, Nirguna Brahma Vidya, right? And so, is it easy or difficult? If we ask, always remember this word easy and difficult is always from a point of view. Point of view. What I ask is basic algebra, is addition easy or difficult? Addition. Addition. It's very easy. Addition is very easy, obviously. You look at you just have to go in India, you just go outside or anywhere in the world where there are all the street vendors, and they don't have any machines, adding machine and all, calculators they don't use. They don't have this punch thing and then it comes out with a bill and all. No, no, all those things they don't have. Okay, 15 people will be just barging in and buying all the vegetables and fruits. Okay, and he is doing this and இது வந்து 50 ரூபா கால் கிலோ and all. He will keep saying all these things. அது வந்து 25 ரூபா 100 ரூபா கிலோ. Like this he'll keep saying, and he's just giving stuff. No words are exchanged. Okay, somebody gives some 500 rupees, this guy gives change back. Somebody else parallelly gives another 100 rupees, he gives change back. Everything parallel processing. He doesn't ask, என்னம்மா என்ன வாங்கினீங்க நீங்க? He doesn't say all that. He knows everything. He's processing everything. And you ask him, do you know addition? What a foolish question that is. Yeah? So addition is obviously easy. But then you ask a 2-year-old to add. 2-year-old cannot add. So ABCD 1, 2, 3 it has learnt by then. And so it has to go to school. There's a long way to go, another 2 years. And so for that child, addition is very difficult. Therefore, this difficult and easy is a point of view. Always remember point of view. It's a good thing to remember this, because all the words we use are all in that category. Point of view category only. Relative category only. Everything. Secure. Secure means what? Did you secure? Did you lock your house? Secure. Yeah, it is secure. Okay, it is secure. for most purposes, but it doesn't mean nobody cannot open the lock, cut the lock. So it's also cuttable. So relative security. That's all you can say. You just pray that by the time you go to this one and Vaishno Devi, and 2 weeks later you come home, and then you hope that the lock is still, you can see the lock in front of the house, unbroken lock. Okay, not broken lock. And so just a prayer. That's all. So it's all relative. And here also Vedanta also exactly like that. It's not, it's difficult, appears difficult, you know why? Because we're not used to all these things. Nobody told us that such a thing exists. Schools they don't talk about, college they don't talk about. If schools they have talked about, I'm telling you, every person who was exposed to that, at least in high school, then there is something like this, there is something like that. Look at all these songs, the songs also talk about it like that. You put it in the mind of the child, then the child will remember. Okay, and then after that, the journey will be natural. And so now we are back to ninth chapter, which is that Nirguna Brahma Jnanam. This is the context going from all these chapters coming to the ninth chapter. So now let's chant the first three shlokas of this ninth chapter. So we are going to divide this into several segments because of the topic in those shlokas, just like before. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
idam tu te guhyatamam
इदं तु ते गुह्यतमम्
pravakshyamyanasuyave
प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे
jnanam vijnanasahitam
ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं
yajñātvā mokṣyase shubhat
यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात्
rajavidya rajaguhyam
राजविद्या राजगुह्यम्
pavitramidamuttamam
पवित्रमिदमुत्तमम्
प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यम्
प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यम्
सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम्
सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम्
अश्रद्धधानाः पुरुषाः
अश्रद्धदाना पुरुषाः
धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप
धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप
अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते
अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते
मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि.
मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि.
Yeah. So these first three shlokas comprises the introduction to this chapter. Bhagavan is introducing this chapter. Guhyatamam, Rajaguhyam. This Vidya is Rajaguhyam. Guhyatamam, greatest secret. Greatest secret. It is the greatest secret because we have never been exposed to it, even though all these things are going on. We never had time for it. Right or wrong? We're not saying wrong or right. If that's how it is. And different, and very different. Very different from what? From every other field of knowledge. Very different. Why? Everything else is Anatma Vidya, and suddenly Atma Vidya, turning the focus on the self. Never before. You know, people are afraid to go to the doctor. You know why? Do you know why? Because the focus is on the self. Some people, not everybody, some people. Some people are very good. Immediately they'll see the doctor. And but some people say postpone, postpone, postpone. And initially it works. until it's too late. Until it's too late. Cancer, fourth stage. Why didn't you come and see us before? What happened? Yeah, I was taking paracetamol. Okay. Paracetamol is not going to cure any of these diseases. And so, why? Because I'm afraid the doctor will tell me something about myself that I won't like. This is the problem. So focus is on the self means right there's a problem. And then another thing, seeing the psychologist. See, no, I won't see psychologist. Why? Because it means I have a mental problem. Nobody likes to say, yeah, I have a mental problem. Nobody accepts that. Physical problem we can accept. Headache, the hand, this, that. Every time my wrist is there's a problem. All that we'll talk about. What about mind? Your mind is pakka, very crystal clear, solid, no problems in the mind. Yeah, mind, I have no problem. Nobody says, I think I have a problem. People also say I have a problem. What should I do? Like that, nobody is asking at all. So the mental problem, I think we are all very the stigma associated with that. Why? Because the spotlights are just shining on my mind. I don't want that to happen. So therefore, I think this is just my way of putting it. Therefore, Atma also. Atma. But fortunately, Atma is not that bad because Atma is pure, Avinashi, Ajaha, etc. Very nice. Good to hear about Atma. So Atma is nice. And so, never got time for this. And therefore, Rajaguhyam. Secret, not because it has been kept a secret. It is secret because there was no time for it, and I always ran away from all these things. And in any case, it requires a lot of emotional maturity and courage to ask the questions. What will happen after I die? So if I ask the question, then that's it. That means you've broken the barrier. Correct? Barrier is broken. Now it's just a question of detail: who, what, when, what kind of book I'm going to study. That's all it is. Okay. And so he says guhyatamam and raja guhyam, and he says raja vidya. Raja vidya. Why Raja Vidya? Our literal translation is what they will say: King of all knowledge, King of all knowledge, or King of all fields of knowledge, something like that. How can you take any two subject matter, any subject matter you take, compare the two? Can we say one subject matter is superior to another subject matter? From the point of view of what kind of professions are there and what kind of salaries I'm going to get when I study this subject. People ask all these questions: is this a good field? Is this a good field means in India? Good field means, is it profitable to study this subject? This is the bottom line. Is that bottom line? I don't want my children to suffer. Parents always do that. So this fellow is studying psychology. This guy is kya ho gaya isko? Psychology? Will anybody study psychology? We are so ignorant that these are the questions we ask. Psychology is studying. Mama, psychology. I have to explain all these things. I have to do, I have to, they're asking me. They think I know about all these things. Ma, don't worry, ma. Psychology is a good field. We need psychologists also in our life. Just because you and I did not visit a psychologist does not mean we don't need psychologists. There are psychologists. They have a big role to play. We need such people. If she is interested in psychology, allow her. Allow her to do it. It's a very good field. Our whole Shastram talks about it. Shastram I should not say, because if I say Shastram, oh, she is. I have to be careful what I say also. I shouldn't say Shastram. So, profitable and all. 1 hour they charge. Somebody went to a what is this? Past regression therapist recently. Past regression. That the past life regression. And they charge 4,000 rupees, it seems. I said, 4,000 rupees? That's a not small amount in India, 4,000 rupees. And so, interesting. And that means there are people who are willing to pay that much, which is okay. I mean, I don't say it's much or high, because if it can if it can just break us ourselves loose from all these things that are there that are locking ourselves, then I think it's worth the money. I personally think so. Therefore, if that field is working well, I think that's very good. And so, therefore, Raja Vidya, it is one Vidya which is absolutely useless, because only Anatma Vidya is going to be useful. Right? Any science you study, you get up something, you have to get a job, you have to use that knowledge. It's useful. But what will you do with this Vidya? You can't do anything with it. It's meant for my own self. And Shastram says that is the end game. End game. Okay, Art of Living says does past regression. That's what Prasadji says. Okay, good to know. And so end game is what? Finally I have to come back to myself. That is the idea. Therefore, Raja Vidya, final destination is this, according to our Shastram anyway. And therefore, Raja Vidya. And in the first sloka, he says that. Why? Yad jnatva mokshase ashubhat. Because this knowledge, ashubhat mokshase, my dear Arjuna. That is why it is Raja Vidya. No other Vidya mokshase ashubhat. Ashubha means punya papa. Every other Vidya will only promote, will only prolong, promote this transmigration. If that has to stop, this Vidya is needed. Therefore, it is called Raja Vidya. Correct? And in seventh chapter also, seventh chapter, look at the second shloka of the seventh chapter. Okay? Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyami asheshataha. Okay? Yad jnatva, Krishna is saying, Yad jnatva, if you know this, then what happens? Neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Look at all the, you have to underline all these things. Connecting to Raja Vidya here. Yad jnatva, knowing this, what happens? What is the use of all this study? He says that. Anyat jnatavyam na avashishyate. There is nothing else that remains to be known. Okay? Nothing else remains to be known. That means what? If I know this, I will know everything. I'll know how to make a cell phone. I will know how to cook. Cook is important, because this cooking is important. Why? Because the food it sustains us, and we can't always rely on other people to cook our food. And so, sooner or later, we'll end up in a position where you have to cook. And I remember once, long ago, I was in some seventh grade, eighth grade, or ninth grade, like that. And then mother was sick, very sick, and at home. And so father comes into the kitchen. Food is not there, and so father comes into the kitchen. He has never come into the kitchen. He comes inside, and we're all there next to him. And what to do, Appa? What should we do? Like, yeah, we'll keep sambar. So he kept some pot with water and then gas, turn on the gas. I think we could somehow, with the struggle, we could turn on the gas, because these fellows, they don't enter the kitchen. And then heat it. Then what should you put? Oh, dal. Should we put the dal in here, or should we cook dal separately? And then I don't know what we did. I don't remember cooking dal separately. And then sambar podi is there. Okay, put sambar podi. And then 15 minutes later, we could not eat all that. Nobody could even put one drop in the mouth. So we went a bit hungry, and then I think that was good for mom, because she finally smiled. We could see her smiling even though she was sick. And so no, Brahma Vidya will not help me make sambar, which is needed for my stomach. Okay, no chance. But here Krishna is saying, Yat jnatva anyad jnatavyam na avashishyate. Nothing else remains to be known. Means what? There is nothing else that you need to know for your security. Doesn't mean security means not security of the body. Body is always insecure. Body will go away anytime. But I am secure or not? Despite my body, can I say I'm secure, I'm happy? Can I say that? Yeah, we all know by experience that we can say that. I am happy despite all the problems in my life, despite all the inconveniences I'm going through. That shows that is a clue for us that yeah, okay, not bad. I can be happy. I can be happy, and I don't. Even though all my people are all this doing this and that, I can still be happy. Therefore, he says, "Anyat jnatavyam na avashishyate." That is why it is Raja Vidya, and our Shastram is has a lot of statements like this. Nachiketa is going to ask later. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat. Tell me that which is other than dharma and adharma is going to ask. He says, don't teach me about dharma and all these things. I have not come here to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time also. Don't teach me about dharma. Teach me that which is beyond dharma, that which sustains dharma. Great question. And in Mundaka, the student is asking a different kind of question. Kasminnu bhagavo vijnate means what? Vijnate sati. Tell me that, hey Bhagavan, tell me that, knowing which vijnate sati, kasminnu bhagavo vijnate, sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati iti. Everything else is as well known. That is the question the student is asking. That means you can imagine the amount of knowledge the student himself has, herself has, correct? So therefore, Raja Vidya, that's the beauty of our tradition. And then, of course, uh, and then before that, Mundaka Upanishad introduces this Vidya. Sa Brahma Devanam Prathama Sambhabuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta. Brahmaji, Chaturmukha Brahmaji. Okay, Vishwasya Karta. He is the creator of the world. Okay, Bhuvanasya Gopta. He is a protector of the world also. Means God is a protector of the world. That Brahmaji. Sa Brahma Vidyam Praha. He taught Brahma Vidya. To whom? Atharvaya Jeshta Putraya. His great oldest son he taught. Brahmaji taught his oldest son, Jeshta Putraya, name is Atharva. And what is this Brahma Vidya? He introduces a word. Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. That Brahma Vidya, which is the sustainer of all other Vidyas. Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. How can Brahma Vidya be the sustainer of all Vidyas? Yeah, that is the whole idea. That is why it's called Raja Vidya here. So I felt like connecting these mantras so that you don't feel like, you feel it's all connected here. And then in shloka number 3, okay, Raja Vidya over, topic is over, okay. Then Ashraddha Dana, he says here. So he's giving a qualification for this. Qualification. What is the qualification? Shraddha is one of the qualifications we saw. And so he's repeating what he said some time ago. Some time ago. When did he say Shraddha? When did Krishna?
श्रद्धावान्
श्रद्धावान्
लभते
लभते ज्ञानम्।
Correct. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam.
Manlavatena.
Sanyatas something comes. Tavan labhate jnanam. Sanyatendriyaha. Something like that it comes. Yeah. So there he said Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Only the person who has Shraddha gets knowledge. Why? What is the Shraddha? The Shraddha is you have to believe certain things until they become true. How can you believe that knowledge of Atma liberates? How can knowing Atma, how I can be free? After knowing Atma, I must do something. After knowing how to make sambar or kadi, I have to make it. Only then I can at least appease my hunger. But यहाँ पर ऐसा नहीं है. Knowledge is equal to moksha. So lot of belief is there. You're kind of holding on to we are all holding on to the Shastram. Shastram says so. It has to be true. And I am going to make it true for myself. Therefore, this is a journey. Lot of Shraddha is involved. My teacher's words are true. Without that Shraddha, there is no chance of sitting in a class like this. And so, Ashraddha Danaha, etc. is talking, but here highlighted that Shraddha is important. Okay. Now let's chant. There's one more place I think where Shraddha. What is the sloka after that?
6.47 also.
6 point.
Shraddhavan bhajate yomam.
Shraddhavan bhajate omam. Yo mam. And then look at 40. That is after Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan is 439. 440. Ajnascha Shraddhadanascha. Samshayatma vinashyati. I'm reading 440. 4.40. Okay. There he uses the word ashraddhadhanaha. Correct? Same, this word here. So we've seen that word before. One who does not have shraddha. And then 647 you said. What is 647? Okay. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Okay. Shraddhavan. That highlights a adhikaritvam. Okay. So we are now ready to look at the next section, which is shlokas 4 to shlokas 10. And let's do that. Let's actually chant it today. Maya tatamidam sarvam
मया ततमिदं सर्वं
jagadavyaktamurtina
जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना
matsthani sarvabhutani
मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि
nachaham teshvavasthitah
न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः
nacha matsthani bhutani
न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि
पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्
पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्
भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः
भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः
ममात्मा भूतभावनः
ममात्मा भूतभावनः
यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यम्
यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यम्
वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान्
वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान्
तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि
तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि
मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय
मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय
प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम्
प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम्
कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि
कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि
कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्
कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्
प्रकृतिं स्वाम् अवष्टभ्य
प्रकृतिं प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य
सृजामि पुनः पुनः
विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम्
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
उदासीनवदासीनम्
उदासीनवदासीनम्
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु
मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः
मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः
श्रूयते सचराचरम्
सूयते सचराचरम्
हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय
हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय
जगद्विपरिवर्तते
जगद्विपरिवर्तते
So these 4 to 10, 7 shlokas, they comprise the main topic of this chapter, the central theme of this chapter. So that is Nirguna Ishvara Swarupam. We will continue that in the next class. So here certain aspects of that Nirguna Swarupam are highlighted. Like for example, Maya Tatam Idam. Tatam, that word has to be underlined. That is one of the aspects. Tatam means what? What did Shankaracharya say? Vyaptam. Vyaptam. Vyaptam means what? All pervasive. The whole world is pervaded by me. Idam sarvam. Sarvam, when you hear the word, it means entire Jagat, universe. Sarvam is what? Maya tatam. Maya vyaptam. Pervaded by me. That is one nature of this Nirgunam Brahma. Like that, you have about 4 or 5 uh, main attributes that are given. We will see all that in the next class. Then after that, we have yeah, other sections where Isa, Nishkama Bhakta and Sakama Bhakta, right? So those two topics are going to come after that, and then it will conclude with that Bhakti Mahatmyam from the 29th shloka onwards. We'll see all that in the next class. Okay. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you.